Be, though.
He could be.
Joe reiterated today how he really does want to have a consistent lineup if he can.
Makes it more comfortable for the players. I mean, they know where they're going to be hitting in the lineup that day, and I think it lines up much easier for them to like deal with it mentally and to be prepared for it mentally.
I think what we saw last night could be close to at least the first 6 or 7 hitters of the lineup. And I think the right-left part of it is something that Joe is interested in. Swing and a miss, a high fastball, 2 outs here in the first.
Good riding fastball there.
You know, it's interesting when you mentioned he was 92. The way it comes out of his hand, it's almost as if it jumps and it's getting on you faster.
Yeah, that's a high spin rate, right? It creates this deception. I think for me, it's always about deception and being able to command that. And it's not necessarily how hard you throw; it's how it's perceived by the hitter.
Well, now Didi Gregorius. Didi returning to New York, where last year, because of the injury, he didn't play the whole year, so he finished with 16 home runs, 61 runs batted in. And if it weren't for all the young talent the Yankees had coming up, whether it be Torres, whether it be Andujar, Urshela's evolution to third, Didi probably would be back in New York.
Just a settling guy in the middle of the lineup and in the middle of the infield.
That ball is ripped into the corner in right field. Judge will get to it quickly. But Didi will get to second base with a 2-out double.
Nice job of pulling his hands inside. That ball cut a little bit on him, and he got his hands inside it and right through it.
That's exactly what you talked about right there.
Yeah, real nice piece. He didn't get all the barrel on it, but he got his hands inside, and that's the key, right? To make good, solid, hard contact.
Two away, runner at second. JT Realmuto, the hitter. Joe pointed out last night that JT was going on this trip because he wanted him to catch Vince Velasquez. It's that one out towards center field. Venturing back is Hicks, and it is a one-hopper off the wall. Gregorius will score. The Phillies will take the lead. It's a 1-0 ball game on an RBI double by JT Realmuto.
Must have been looking for that breaking ball. First pitch breaking ball, he was all over it. Smoked that ball to center field. Not a bad pitch. Great piece of hitting. 2-out thunder.
Yeah, the way Hicks went back on it, I thought he was either going to catch it or it was going to go over the fence.
Well over the fence. Yeah, he didn't move that well to it. It really jumped off the bat.
All right, so back-to-back doubles. And here's Rhys Hoskins, and he takes a breaking ball.
Talked about it in the opener. Rhys is in great shape. He looks great.
Mm-hmm. Wondered how a lot of these guys were going to come back after the layoff. And a lot of them, and we talked to, Rhys, Andrew Knapp, Scott Kingery. They said there were certain things that they learned in spring training, physically, mentally, whatever, that they used the 3.5 months to get better at.
People don't realize that was almost an entire off season. 3.5 months. Second off season.
And I think the first couple of weeks, nobody really knew what was going to happen. So then all of a sudden you're like, all right, this looks like it's going to be a long-term thing. So let's figure out how we can get better.
Really a credit to the players. I mean, that's that's being a good teammate, right? Preparing yourself for your team and being ready.
3 balls and 1 strike. This will be the 20th pitch of the inning for Garcia. We'll also see Zach Britton tonight and Nick Nelson. Those are 2 definites the Yankees have said will pitch.
They got Chapman down, right?
Yeah. That's a good thing.
Yeah. There's
ball 4.
Britton's going to be closing, it looks like.
First walk issued by Garcia. Scott Kingery DHing tonight. Nothing better than getting some runs in the first inning. They did it the other night against Max Scherzer. And then he settled in.
Early points are big.
Mm-hmm.
A little cutting action on that fastball.
You know, he looks like, just looks like physically was Octavio Dotel.
Oh, yeah.
Just the way he's built.
It's a good call. Little across his body, some deception there.
Mm-hmm. One ball and one strike. King replayed the field the last few days, so that's a good sign. Feeling good after being sidelined with COVID-19.
Some good takes right there. He was flailing a little bit to some of the sliders yesterday, and he staying on the ball right now.
Is that part of the timing that you talked about in the open?
No question about it. It's all about getting those reps and those at bats.
Ran. The box says it was close. The way it was caught by Sanchez made it seem like it was well outside. 3-1.
Usually don't get the benefit of the doubt when he's set up inside and
no
receives it like that.
Off the foot, 3-2. So the runners will be off. I think they had hoped for at least 4 from Garcia tonight. The way he started, it's not looking like that.
All with 2 outs?
All with 2 outs. He got the first 2 pretty quickly. All 4. Back-to-back walks.
Nice at bat by Scott.
I think this is the part, too. You know, last night we saw when Wheeler had an inning like this as the game moved on where they ended the inning.
The infamous rollover.
The infamous rollover. Matt Blake, the new pitching coach for the Yankees, took over for Larry Rothschild, who headed out to San Diego. Matt is over from the Indians organization.
Yes, he was. Or Brian Cashman put a call in to Carl Willis and asked him what he thought about this young man.
Oh, is that how he went up there?
I think he was just doing a little background check on him.
Well, he's taken over for a guy that was there for a long time. Was Joe's pitching coach.
Right. An outstanding pitching coach.
Mm-hmm.
Really good.
All right, so here's Hazley playing left field tonight. 3 3-ball counts, 2 full counts after getting the first 2 hitters, although the first hitter was a full count to Roman Quinn.
It's where the depth of the lineup becomes real important for the Phillies, and you can see it happening right here. No real easy outs in the lineup. There's no soft areas,
which is pretty cool considering that Harper's not there, McCutcheon's not there, right, and Jay Bruce is not there. Right. Fouled away. You know, you talked about the fatigue of the pitchers and getting the feel. This is a long inning for somebody in an exhibition game.
Sure is.
I would think that Aaron Boone is probably contemplating whether he's going to get somebody out. Nobody's up yet, but.
And I don't know if they've discussed it, whether or not they're going to be allowed to roll over. I know it was a little bit of a discussion yesterday.
Very funny. Yeah. It was well, and then the fact that Zach Wheeler came back out was even funnier.
Right. He needed a break. It does make some sense. We don't want to get anybody hurt in this part of the season right now.
Another one fouled away. He's a little tardy on these fastballs.
Hard to stay sharp when you get up close to the 30-pitch mark in the first inning.
I think you feel like you rush also. Like you're just trying to get that last out.
He's trying to use his whole repertoire. He's just struggling with his command.
Zero Muto at third, Hoskins at second, Kingery at first. Just one run so far, despite the fact the Phils have had base runners. That one's pulled down the right field line out of play. Would it be hard for you as a hitter not having the crowd, not having that ambient sound in the background?
I think you lock in as a hitter. I don't think
Do you?
You don't think about it much. I think you just locked in on trying to focus on, that release point.
Over to first. That's a fair ball. Vogt has it. Underhand toss. Garcia allows a run. He throws 33 pitches. Phillies offense got back-to-back doubles. Gregorius first. That one down the right field line. And then JT Realmuto on the first pitch gave the Phils a 1-0 lead as we go to the bottom of the first. Yankee Stadium. We're in a Citizens Bank Park on a glorious night here in South Philadelphia. It looks like it's the same up in the Bronx. Let's look at the Yankees lineup, brought to you by Xfinity, the fastest internet in Philadelphia. DJ LeMahieu leads it off at second base. Aaron Judge, he'll bat second. Torres third. Giancarlo Stanton, he has unbelievable numbers against the Phillies. His days with the Marlins, he bats cleanup. I think they're just happy he's back in the lineup. And there's Vince Velasquez. So those are the spring training numbers. It hasn't included the inter-squad games, which I think have been way better than his spring training games coming back after this layoff.
Yeah, T-Mac, I'm excited about seeing him. I know he threw really well his last time out. Real good poise, very efficient. And, that's the key for him, to be able to command that baseball. We know about the arm.
Mm-hmm.
He's just got to throw strikes and command the zone.
First pitch to DJ LeMahieu is taken upstairs, 1-0. LeMahieu last year, incredible season. 26 home runs, 102 RBIs. I think a lot of people wondered when he left Colorado, would he be able to sustain? Because he had some good years in Colorado. He sustained it all right.
Well, better and better and better. They call him the La Machine. That's what he is when he's hitting.
I think if you're Aaron Boone and you got him last year, that's a heck of a pickup.
And he hit everywhere in the lineup, and he also basically played everywhere. I mean, he played a little first, played a little second, played a little third base, I think. Almost got doused right there.
I thought it did hit him.
How did it miss him?
Oh, it did miss him. I thought it missed him, and he asked if he could stay up to hit. It may have gotten his pant leg. Oh, yeah, there he goes. All right, so he'll take his spot over at first. It did look like he was pleading that he wanted to stay and hit.
That's a good call.
Aaron Judge injury-plagued year last year, 27 home runs, 55 runs batted in.
Well, they missed him last year, and they still had a great offensive year.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of big bats. I mean, Giancarlo Stanton, only 18 games. Hicks, 59 games. He's coming back from a rib injury, correct?
Yeah, he's been banged. I mean, not banged up as much as Stanton has during his career, but he's been banged up. That's a good pitch.
Really good breaking ball, especially behind in the count.
Brian Price said the primary pitches for Velasquez tonight: fastball, curveball, changeup, and then the cutter, which he has added during this break. They said the key is going to be the curveball and the changeup, that he has to have it in order to be successful now.
Makes sense. It's all about his consistency.
I thought the changeup was really good in his last inter-squad game.
I didn't get a chance to see it live, but I understand it was outstanding.
1-2. There's Brian Price.
He's going to be an immediate impact, and already is an immediate impact guy. He's a great communicator, understands the new analytics. He understands what it takes to be a quality major league pitcher, and what a great hire for the Philadelphia Phillies.
The thing about him, they picked up Girardi and Brian Price, and I think what you said about Brian is exactly the same thing about Joe. Understanding analytics and how to implement it, but also how to explain it, to understand the right way to put a lineup together too.
And they're a perfect example of not being old school or new school, but being in school.
Mm-hmm. 2-2 to Aaron Judge. Swing and miss. The Judge is down on strikes.
Great breaking ball right there. You kind of take for granted what JT does behind the plate, but he blocks everything. I mean, it's a tough pitch right there to block. He blocked it as if it was nothing, no advance. I think the runners are gonna understand that they just can't move on the guy. I mean, look how steady he is. Even though kind of an unorthodox one knee look.
Here's Torres playing shortstop. And he lines that one past Didi Gregorius into left field. So a base hit will put runners on first and second here in the bottom of the first. And Giancarlo Stanton is coming up.
Torres, phenomenal year last year. What a lineup. The depth in their lineup is amazing. I think their OPS is averaging right around 890 or 870.
Well, the fact that they're going to use Andujar in the outfield tells you what kind of depth they have.
They can swing it.
Stanton looked like he was ready to go against the Mets in the exhibition game the other day. He hit a 448-foot home run.
We've seen that happen.
Oh, yeah. Too many times.
He does need to stay on the field, though, for him to be effective with the Yankees. No question he's had his troubles.
18 games last year. The time off helped him heal that strained calf that he had in spring training. One ball and one strike.
I thought this guy was big, and then I saw Aaron Judge against him.
Yeah.
Some physical fellas.
I think I saw Judge for the first time in Trenton when he was in Double-A, and I thought, is that Giancarlo Stanton out there? Well, you're right, he's bigger.
Amazing. Where Vince has got to really settle down and make the pitches he needs to make. Runners on base, traffic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they've talked about having him not try to necessarily get strikeouts, but get contact, pitch around the zone. Well, he can get a swing and a miss every once in a while too.
With that fastball. Some life there, real late life, riding high in the zone.
Two balls, two strikes. And a called strike three. Beautiful curveball from Velasquez. 2 outs here in the first.
Frozen with a beauty. See the flinch there. Check out the flinch. That's when you know you got a good breaking ball.
That's a great shot right there. You can see it getting the inside part of the plate.
Front door breaking ball. That's kind of a tough pitch for those right-handers, especially with the kind of velocity. You know, the 95-mile-an-hour fastball up in the zone in that same area. It came out of the same slot, breaking ball. Impressive.
All right, so Velasquez can see his way out of this inning if he can get Aaron Hicks. Hicks, who just said yesterday that he's still trying to fine-tune himself. He said he feels like he's a little bit behind against left-handed pitching, not as much against right-handed pitching.
Makes some sense to get more reps from the left side.
Mm-hmm. He was injured last August, injured his throwing arm last August when he's got the cover on.
You have Tommy John?
He did.
Yeah.
2 balls, no strikes. Yeah, think about that. He had Tommy John. Stanton was out most of the year.
Yeah.
And Judge was banged up.
He missed a lot of the season as well.
Not a bad pitch.
Real good pitch.
Bottom of the zone.
Right down the middle for a ball.
For a ball. There's Rob Thompson, Joe Girardi's bench coach, who was with him for a long time up in New York.
A lot of rumors that he might take over for Joe.
I know. I thought he would.
I thought he would too.
Yep.
Great baseball man. I mean, the three at the top of the ticket there, as far as our coaching staff is concerned, with Joe and Brian Price, as we talked about.
Pretty lucky, I think.
Great group. They've been through it. They've won.
Yeah, I think the fact that Brian Price got the chance to manage, I think that helps him even more.
Gives him a great perspective on some of the things that he can help, Joe with.
Mm-hmm. 3-1. And ball 4, a fastball that runs away. So that'll load the bases up. Gary Sanchez coming up.
See Vince kind of fighting himself a little bit. He had to take a little time off the mound, regroup, settle down.
We saw last night Zach Wheeler having a little trouble with his command, so let's see if Vince can work his way out of it. Joe said last night, kind of what you talked about at the open, Ruben. He said, I wasn't really concerned about Zach. He just didn't have good breaking pitch, secondary pitches. He said, but his velocity was good. His arm strength was good. He goes, that's what I was concerned about.
You want to make sure they're healthy first, but then it's about fine tuning and getting ready for, opening day, their first real action.
Sanchez fouls that back behind home plate.
And you got to hit the ground running a little bit. It's a 60-game sprint. You got to be ready to roll.
I think that's part of what people. I think they understand it, and I know these guys do. But I think that's the realization of, hey, it's 60 games. If we get off, Jason Stark talked about this. You get off to a 5-game losing streak at any point, it's like a 15-game losing streak.
Question. There's going to be some surprises in the league. You're going to see some interesting things. I mean, GMs set themselves up for the long haul, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it may be a surprise club that gets very, very hot, ends up staying with it, and becomes a playoff contender.
Breaking ball, 0-2. I'll be a little careful with that one the next time. A little bit.
A little up in the zone. The fact that he has that life up in the zone with his fastball probably froze the guy a little bit, but Sanchez is awfully dangerous.
So the bases loaded for the Yankees. Phillies did that in their half of the first. They had already scored a run. Realmuto wants it down to the dirt. That's where he threw it.
Tell you, as a pitcher, you have all the confidence in the world to throw that dirt ball because you know JT's blocking it.
Mm-hmm.
That's big.
Yeah, Brad Lidge used to talk about that with Brad Ausmus and Carlos Ruiz. He said, I had no issues because I knew those two guys were behind the plate.
Yeah.
Two and two.
It's a pitch that's become real popular, that inside changeup, right on right. The perception is that that's going to be a fastball, and then they swing over it.
Right. When you played, I mean, it was more, you'd see that changeup against left-handers.
Right. Front door breaking balls. They had backdoor breaking balls back then, but not a whole lot of front door ones.
Back to the screen, remains 2-2. For the Phillies, Damon Jones is going to pitch tonight. We'll see Blake Parker, Ramon Rosso, Robert Stock is scheduled to pitch. A lot of sim games today here at the ballpark. Certain relievers threw simulated innings. Tommy Hunter threw, Adam Morgan threw, Hector Neris threw as well. I bring that up because it's only the first inning, and we're at 24 pitches for Vince. Swing and a miss. He got him. 3 strikeouts.
That cutter.
Threw it at the right time. Yankees leave him loaded. Phillies on top 1-0. Miami Marlins at Citizens Bank Park for Nemours opening day. First pitch is at 7:05 this Friday. Tune in to NBC Sports Philadelphia to catch all the action. Phillies are up at Yankee Stadium where the Phillies lead at 1-0. We are here in Philadelphia at Citizens Bank Park calling the game. I keep looking around the monitors to see the playing field just out of habit.
Right.
Along with Ruben Amaro and Greg Murphy, I'm Tom McCarthy. Scott Fransky and Kevin Franzen are in the radio booth next to us, calling the game from here, too. Neil Walker bounces one toward the middle. And Torres will make the play. Nick Williams coming up. On the other side of us, in the other booth with a mirror, is Greg Murphy. Murph?
Yes, that mirror to see you guys.
That's right.
The only way I can see you. But, in the other booth. And, guys, we know this is the final exhibition game of the 2020 summer camp. But what does the rest of the week hold for the Phillies as they get ready and ramp it up for opening day on Friday? Well, we're going to tell you. At least we're going to tell you what we know because, as Joe Girardi said, there's a lot of moving parts going on right now. But here's what we do know. We know tonight, obviously, Vince Velasquez on the mound versus the Yankees. The next two games are going to be inter-squad games like we saw last week. And we're guessing that Nick Pivetta will be a part of tomorrow night's inter-squad game. But we know Jake Arrieta is scheduled to pitch on Wednesday. Then on Thursday, just a simulated game. Joe Girardi saying only a few people would be at the ballpark. Zach Eflin going to get his work in. And then on Friday, as we all expected, but it was announced really officially today, Aaron Nola will take the baseball for the first game of the 2020 season. So he makes his third consecutive opening day start for the Phillies, the first Phillies pitcher to do that since Roy Halladay did it 3 years in a row as well. So, and Aaron Nola said he is ready to go. He feels great and ready to take the baseball for the Phils. So that's what the rest of this week is going to look like. And then we get it all started for real this weekend, guys.
Yeah, I still think it's open Saturday and Sunday. I think Joe wants to see the next couple of days before he decides what he's going to do Saturday and Sunday. It's funny listening to Aaron talk. Nola, you would expect this from him, but when he was asked about whether, after his start against Washington, whether he could pitch on opening day, he kind of just said, well, yeah, why couldn't I? And I think it's because he got a late start to summer camp 2.0. But he was ready to go.
Pitched real well. And that's his attitude. I mean, he's going to go out there and he expects to go out there and perform.
Yeah. No balls and one strike to Alec Boehm after Nick Williams single to left field, a little bloop to left field.
Nice piece of two-strike hitting right there. That's lost art. That's big. Making contact means something. Gave him a chance to get on base. Interesting to see what will happen with Nick with this roster situation.
I agree with that, yeah. There just may not be room for him.
Right. Does have an option, correct?
He does. 0-2 to Boehm.
They've been challenging Alec a little bit in the inside part of the plate, and another issue with timing.
Yeah. People have asked about Alec Boehm too, what the Phillies will do with him. Well, whatever happens, if they don't make the 30-man roster, they'll go to Lehigh Valley, and that will be the alternate site where they will work out every day. Joe alluded to yesterday that they're going to bring other players in. So I guess they can do that.
Play inter-squads.
And they play inter-squad games, yeah.
I wonder if they're going to be playing any other teams. That's the question I have.
That I thought about that, but I think they're worried
Safety
about the
issue.
travel. Right. I think they're worried about the travel.
Right.
The ball's at 2 strikes to Boehm. Slices this one down the right field line. On the run is Judge toward the corner. Makes the grab. I think that would have gone foul anyway, but it was still a good play. Second out of the inning. And Roman Quinn is coming up.
Really good outfielder. He looked a little gingerly. Ooh, probably a fair ball there.
Could have been a fair ball.
He's moving a little gingerly, it looked like. He got to it, though. Moves really well for such a big man. Really does.
What is a play like that, Ruben, do you think, as an outfielder without any fans? What is that? Does that change at all, a play like that, when you're getting close to the wall?
I don't think so. Only if you're in the away team. I guess if you're a visiting team.
That's true.
Can be a little bit of a challenge. Kind of hoping the fans get get involved if you're the home team, right?
That's what I was wondering. You're basically just tracking it down, and usually you'll hear something. Home or road, you'll hear something. You'll hear something positive if you're the home team.
No, when you get a cerveza thrown on you.
Or that. 0-1 to Roman Quinn. 0-2. I think Roman a little upset that he even went after that pitch.
A little up out of the zone there.
That ball gets away. And Nick Williams is going to at least get to second base. He might try for third. So David Hale takes over for the Yankees. DD doubled his first time up, doubled and scored on an RBI from Real Muto. Yeah, the dirt 2-0.
I don't know if that Garcia outing helped him much, make that club.
Well, I was thinking about it. I was looking at their rotation. So Garrett Cole obviously is the lead guy. He's the lead dog in the Yankees rotation. Jordan Montgomery is probably going to be in the rotation because of the injury to Tanaka. Jay Happ also will be in the rotation. So for them, they're kind of searching.
Paxton in there?
Paxton. They're searching for others. They're one of those teams. We talked about it with the Orioles last night. They haven't decided how they're going to handle the back of the rotation or not. 2 balls and 1 strike. And now 3-1. Didi to first base, and Vogt will take it to the bag, and the inning is over. So the Phils do get another run on a single by Roman Quinn. We'll head to the bottom of the second, 2-0 Phillies.
We came through the loading dock and, from center field all the way around. So that was different. I did see a lot of familiar faces in Luka Kuzin and his clubhouse staff. So that seemed kind of normal, but you're on the opposite side and it's different.
I think he was expecting those questions today from the folks from the Yankees media corps. And, for Joe, as he's talked about, he has the job he wants right now. So it's good for him. He was greeted by some of the coaches with the Yankees. He did an amazing job when he was in New York. I mean, he taking over for Joe Torre.
He didn't make my life very happy.
No, he didn't. Didn't make anybody's life happy in 2009. That one's lined out toward left center field. That'll be in for an extra base hit. It goes all the way to the wall. Roman Quinn gets on it quickly. Speaking of Joe Girardi, our Toyota report, he's among the top 6 all-time wins leaders in Yankee history with 910.
Really did a heck of a job over there. And when I was in Boston as a coach, he, it was always a knockdown drag-out between those two teams. Certainly a mainstay. That's a great story. I mean, he was a player there, became a champion.
He made a lot of friends.
A lot of mixed feelings, right?
Yeah. Well, it's hard to let go. I mean, you know that as well as anybody does. I mean, you have to make, as a GM, you have to make those decisions. And Brian Cashman's been really successful. I know he's a close friend of yours, really successful as a general manager. And you have to make some tough decisions.
No question about it.
Brett Gardner takes a strike.
When we parted with Charlie, that was one of the toughest things I've ever done. Maybe not the right thing to do, but it's
Well, but it's hard.
There's some tough decisions to make.
It's one of those where everybody says, pat you on the back and says, glad I don't have your job. A one pitch, up high, 1-1.
Well, it becomes a personal issue because, you work so closely. The relationship between the GM and the manager, particularly if it's been a long time, and Joe was there for a long time.
It's hard to step back, isn't it?
It really
look
is
at
tough.
it in a way that is more business than anything else.
Yeah, I talked to Dallas Green about that many, many years about how difficult it was to hire his friends and then fire his friends.
Right, because you want all of them around you because you're comfortable. 1-2 to Brett Gardner. Runner at second base. Yankees have 2 hits. They have 4 base runners against Velasquez. Gardner coming off a career-high 28 home runs last year. Signed a 1-year deal with the Yankees to come back.
Sometimes it takes a little longer for guys to drive the ball.
He was remarkable last
He's
season.
amazing. Sitting in the 8 hole.
Yeah.
Again, you start approaching 850 in your OPS. I mean, that's some damage.
Yeah. Particularly for somebody that you wouldn't consider that kind of a hitter.
Right. Always real pesky, always had a great idea of the strike zone, but for him to be that dangerous.
Well, that was a nasty fastball in the inner half by Velasquez, 95. And 1 out.
JT wanted on the outside part, and he froze him on the inside part, which is fine. We'll take it. I think the most important part of that is that he did not move the runner to third base. Then on second, nobody out. Scrappy hitter who's very, very difficult to strike out, and he punches him out. Doesn't advance.
That'll bring Urshela up. Yankees got him from the Indians organization. He had 21 home runs last year, 74 runs batted in. He didn't do that previously with the Indians.
Oh, no, he did not. But he is an outstanding defender. And I guess, just get into a situation where you feel real comfortable, and he did. And he took advantage of it. He actually played for my brother's team in Venezuela.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. Yeah, he sure did.
For more than 1 year?
I think he may have played for 2 years. Look at that run on that fastball. You think that's catching it on the hands?
How did he get a piece of that? Look at his face as he makes contact here. Game's not easy, Ruben.
No, hitting is not easy.
Fly ball left center field or center field. From Philadelphia, it looked like left center field. Roman Quinn makes the catch. And it gets it in.
It's a nice job of Roman getting behind this ball. It's again, we talked about it in the opener. The fundamental baseball that these guys are playing has really been impressive to me. They had it going in the early part of the spring, and really nice job of getting behind the ball and getting in a good position to throw. That's going to be big when it's really time to have to make a play.
Yeah. Well, here's LeMahieu, hit by a pitch his first time up. Out to right field. It's a short porch. Williams is there, and he makes the catch. And the inning is over. Well, he got there.
Sure did.
Pulled it off the top. He's got a smile on his face. We head to the third. Game series with 2 games played at Citizens Bank Park, where we are tonight, and 2 games at Yankee Stadium. Tune in NBC Sports Philadelphia to watch this exciting series kickoff with the McDonald's opening night on Monday, July 27th at 7:05. Top of the third, it's 2-0. Phillies on top.
I like the efficiency of that last inning. Big for Vince to come back and tighten it up, keep that pitch count down.
Yeah, he gave up the double to Voit and then the strikeout and the 2 flyouts.
Pitch to contact is key.
Ground ball by Real Muto to third. And he is retired on 1 pitch from David Hale.
Urshela makes that look so easy. He really is good
It
over
looked
there.
like he was hanging over in that area, didn't it?
Yeah, he was all the way back in that corner there.
Here's Rhys Hoskins, who walked his first time up. Still a work in progress, Murph, as far as Rhys goes with his stance, but I guess getting more comfortable as time goes on.
Yeah, and I think that's to be expected when you think about a guy who came into spring training trying to make some changes in the way he set up in the box, and the way he was holding his hands, the way his stride was. So he was trying to implement them. And you remember, guys, obviously it was a big story in spring training as he started to lower the hands a little bit and try to work through some of the issues that he had at the end of last season. And now you're starting to see the hands are crept up just a little bit. And I talked to Rhys about that today, and he said, it's really kind of a hybrid from where he started last year to where he began spring training. It's kind of in the middle now. And he said, I have to remember that I had some success with my old way too, and I want to put those two together and kind of work the hybrid swing. He said, I think that'll be more repeatable for me, and if it's more repeatable, I'm going to have a lot more success. And Joe Girardi was asked about it last night. He said, over the last couple of days, he's starting to see Rhys Hoskins be a little bit more comfortable, look a little bit more like the Rhys Hoskins that we had seen early last season and not late last season. So, it's got to be difficult. And Ruben, you could speak to this, but it's got to be difficult to make a major change in your swing. And Rhys is trying to do it, slowly, but it's getting to the point where he needs it to be ready to go.
Yeah, Murph, really tough to do, particularly when you're facing major league pitching, right? It's not like you're instructional league now. He's expected to produce and to make those small adjustments. And I think it's just a matter of him getting to the point where he's comfortable again. And he needs to, obviously, we've talked about this, and many have talked about it. He needs to use the entire field, but listen, it's not going to change his eye. He's got a really good idea of the strike zone. He's going to swing at strikes generally, and it's just a matter of him getting comfortable and having success and staying with it.
And we may see him tinker even more, right, Ruben? I mean, it may not be, like Murph said, this is a hybrid. This may not be the finished products.
Great point. I mean, remember Joe Madden working with me when I was an A-ball way back when, and had to make an adjustment, and it sometimes it clicks right away, and sometimes it just it takes some time. So, listen, we know he's got the ability to do tremendous damage in the middle of this lineup, and it's just a matter of him getting more comfortable.
Well, and the Phillies certainly going to need him in that middle lineup as Kingery takes just a bit low. It's 1-0.
And Tom, one additional thought, he has been working with Joe Dillon, obviously, since the start of spring training. But even before that, when Joe was hired in the offseason, one of his first phone calls was to Rhys Hoskins. Those two developed a relationship. They have been working very closely together. And the thing about Joe Dillon, I remember talking to him a couple weeks ago about it, is that, first and foremost, the player has to feel comfortable with any of the changes. And so that's what Joe is, really keeping his eye on, is how Rhys feels about the things that they're trying to implement. And slowly and surely, they're finding that common ground that they think will both work.
Great point, Murph. There's a lot of buy-in that has to happen. I mean, he's the guy who's out there facing the pitchers. He's the one who's having to produce, and certainly the players got to feel comfortable. And I think Joe understands that and knows that well. And that's, it's kind of almost coaching 101 these days.
Kingery gets the green light, 3-0, bounces it foul. It's 3-1. I think last year, too, Rhys had so many people in his ear that it was probably good for him to have a clean slate and Joe Dillon take over. And that's the primary voice now that he can listen to as the season begins again.
Another great point. One voice. That happens a lot, especially if you're not producing the way you typically want. Everybody wants to coach and everybody wants to help out. I think all with good intentions, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you got to filter out some of that stuff, and just sometimes it's important just to get one voice.
Well, a walk by Kingery, his second of the night. And Adam Hazley, who grounded out, will be the hitter.
It's another good sign. It's good to see Scott take pitches, swing at strikes. Be the type of player. I think he can be a real complete player, not just somebody who's going to drive the ball. He's somebody who's going to get on base, steal a base. I'm not sure if his legs are quite ready for that yet because he had a little bit of a late start, but it's nice to see him get on base. That's an important element of his game as well.
I wonder too about playing second all the time. If that's going to, people talk about being relaxed. I don't think that he was nervous at all playing the other positions, but now he's at what is probably the most natural spot for him.
Absolutely. Got a chance to see him play quite a bit there in Arizona when before we drafted him, and he's a dynamic player. He's got great ability to change some things, not just offensively but defensively too. I mean, I think playing all over the place last year and playing as well as he did, I think that'll help him. And as far as the defense is concerned, at second base.
Well, Urshela is going to make all 3 outs or assists on those outs. David Hale has a quiet third. Phillies leave 1. We'll head to the bottom of the third. It's 2-0. Phillies on top. As we go to the bottom of the third inning, Vince Velasquez getting set for his third inning of work. You know, we talked last night about the passing of 2 important pieces to the Phillies foundation. Well, we also want to send condolences out to our buddy Phil Sheridan. He's on the right there. He's there with his 2 brothers and his mom. His mom, Ann, passed away a couple of days ago. She passed away, worked at Bryn Mawr Hospital for more than 30 years, and that's where she was in hospice care. And the nurses there and the doctors, everybody took such good care of her. We want to let Phil know and his family know that we're all thinking of him. He's such a good friend, and she was such a big part of the Phillies family, extended family. And we want to let all of the Sheridans know that we're thinking about them as we embark on a season, and hope that Phil can get back here as soon as possible. Aaron Judge struck out his first time up. One of 4 strikeouts for Velasquez. 0-2. Curveball has been good at times. It's been up a little bit, but they haven't been able to hit it. Does that make any sense? I mean, it's been around the strike zone.
And that's a product of his life and his fastball. I mean, that'll freeze you, that 95 up in the zone. And it's also, still early part of the year, so to speak. So
there's that changeup.
He's getting away from some of those with some of those pitches. That's good. He's got to implement some, all his whole repertoire. That changeup's big for him, and he's got to be able to use all of it.
JT talked about it after his last start. Throws it again. Yeah, he gets the strikeout for the second time. He gets Aaron Judge. And 1 out, 5 strikeouts.
kind of hesitated to want to throw this again. JT was pretty adamant about wanting that change up back to back. Sometimes you got to listen to your catcher, baby.
And there's the affirmation from JT after he does it.
Really good arm action and good downer action on it.
Here's Torres, who singled his first time up. Little tapper foul. Well, the Phillies are up at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. We are here in Philadelphia. Ruben Amaro joined our family, our NBC Sports Philadelphia family today. And what we decided is to throw you right into the fire and do a game that's 90 miles from Philadelphia. But it's nice to have you here in the
Brave new world.
Yeah.
It's great to be here. It really is. And it's nice to be back in this stadium. And I know we're doing it remotely, but it's beautiful here at CBP.
And for years, Ruben heard us talk about our shirts, how we could never get them right a lot of times with Sarge and everybody else. And now he's got his own basket full of shirts, so we'll see how he does with them.
I read my emails.
Yeah, you do. Here's the 0-2 pitch to Torres. Ground ball, left side. Gobbled up by Bohm, who came on for Segura when Segura was hit by the pitch.
Another real effective changeup right there. Great spot.
We got some Ruben highlights.
Oh.
Is that Pop?
Ah, that's my daddy. I think that was my first spring training in '92.
Oh, it was?
I do believe so. Yeah, we had those. Those were the uniforms that year before we went to the new ones in '93.
Yeah, they were sharp. That was cool. Your dad must have been pretty happy that day when he saw you and get a chance to play a spring training game.
Yeah, pretty cool moments.
So the Tigers, and I don't know who the pitcher was there, but they still have the exact same uniforms that they had back then that they've always had.
Traditionalists.
2 balls and no strikes.
I think that was Tanana, believe it or not.
Oh, really? Frank Tanana?
I think it was Frank Tanana. Could be wrong.
Who threw
another good change
really hard when he was with the Angels, but a little different.
Very different. I think he was a very different type of pitcher. I think he just hung a changeup for me right there on that one. That wasn't a hanger. That's some great action on that changeup right now.
2-1 pitch coming. Outside, 3-1.
He's mixing it up. That slider's more of a cutter.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Curveball. It was a strike.
3-1 breaking ball.
So it was just that Stanton wasn't expecting it.
No. You can throw that pitch for a strike on 3-1. Get a chance to be real good.
I do think you're seeing confidence in Velasquez as even this game goes on in those secondary pitches.
It's also, you got to give JT some credit here, obviously. He's making him throw certain pitches, even though he may not feel comfortable throwing them or hadn't felt comfortable throwing them in the past. Now he's making him throw those pitches.
Well, he missed his spot on that one. Fortunately, though, it didn't get to the barrel of the bat. And Roman Quinn runs it down in center field. Yankees go down 1-2-3 in their half of the third. Phil's on top 2-0. Found it on our website. Get the latest stories, stats, videos, and more right now on NBCSportsPhiladelphia.com. It's a nice night anywhere in the Northeast. There is Manhattan. We are in Philadelphia looking at Center City. But that shot right there that the folks from the Yes Network are providing us is a beautiful look at Manhattan, downtown Manhattan.
Pretty nice.
Pretty nice. David Hale continues on for the Yankees. He's got an inning and third so far. And Neil Walker takes a strike, 0-1. Walker found out a couple days ago that he officially is going to be on the opening day roster. 0-2.
It's such a good feeling, even as a veteran player. I mean, when you know you're locked into the club, and I guess in particular for him, this is a milestone pretty much for him because you get across that 10-year mark. Right?
Yeah, big deal. 6 days away.
It is a big deal.
10 years of service time in the big leagues means full pension.
Ooh, yeah.
Which means that financially for him and his family, even though, listen, he's made a decent amount of money during his career. Yeah. But for the rest of his life, he's in pretty good shape. Outside, 1-2.
You know, adjusting to that role is not easy, especially when you're an everyday player. And got to give him a lot of credit for being able to accept that kind of change in your role, because the players have a tough time doing it.
Well, I think also with somebody like him, there's a lack of stability year to year. You have to make a team almost every year.
Right. Got to love the game. And he certainly does. I mean, I felt that when we were talking to him the other day.
Line drive to right field, but right at Aaron Judge.
It's a crisp swing right there. Used to call that the perfect spring training out.
Yeah, but if you did it in the regular season, you wouldn't be happy about it.
Not happy at all. Now, the worst I've ever seen at that was Placido Polanco. He didn't care how hard he hit the ball. He wanted to hit. You had to get away, scatter from that guy if you hit a rocket somewhere for an out.
Williams takes a strike, 0-1. He had a single his first time up. Off speed pitch, 0-2.
Good looking changeup right there.
Really was.
Yeah.
He still throws 95. He's always thrown hard.
Another good one. Good spot too. In this day and age of spin rates and high fastballs, can't get away from that changeup. That really is an equalizer.
Threw it again. 3 straight changeups.
Breaking out the scouting report on Nick.
I don't know what you would call it after you throw 3 straight changeups and the count's still 1-2. What do we do here? They're going to go in. He golfs it out to short right center field, and it drops in for another blue base hit for Nick Williams. He's 2 for 2.
Hasn't hit him hard, but he's making contact with 2 strikes again. I'll take it all day long. He doesn't look happy, but I would be. Didn't look like Judge was moving to this ball too well, huh?
I thought I heard, and it's tough for us to hear it since we're 90 miles away, but I thought I heard, I got it. But then after listening to the replay, it was in. But you mentioned that before about Judge. You might be right. There may be something bugging him.
She hasn't had a lot of playing time lately.
That one eats up Urshela, hit hard by Bohm. And that puts runners on first and second with 1 out.
This ball beat him inside a little bit, but he fought it off, got it through the infield. It was a hard sinker.
Mm-hmm.
Pulled his hands in there. You know, they've been pitching him inside quite a bit lately. You know, he's a long levered guy, so I can see that happening quite a bit. So he's just like anything else. You like to see those adjustments.
Roman had an RBI single his last time up. He's also popped out. Starts it with a change on the outside part of the plate.
Roman had that one day, I guess it was an intra squad. He tried to bunt like 4 or 5 times.
Right.
Got to keep that in his arsenal. I don't know if he's going to do it here with runners in scoring position, but still a real important part of his game.
Off his foot. All right, so he was 1-2 last time that he singled to right field. See what he
Single on a
does
breaking
here.
ball, right?
Yeah. He was the second to last hitter that Garcia faced before he hit Segura. It was lifted for Hale. Ooh, good pitch.
Real good one.
First strikeout. There's Dusty Wathan, third base coach for the Phils. Paco Figueroa is over at first base. All right, so this is where Segura would bat. So they've just taken him from the game, and they're now with 9 hitters. So Gregorius bats.
Lots of leeway.
Lots of leeway. Last night we went 9.5 innings, so Trevor Kelly can get some work in for Joe Girardi.
That was interesting.
Well, we watched Joe walk over and talk to Brandon Hyde, which was really funny, watching him walk through the stands during the game. And we wondered, well, maybe he's going to ask for a runner to be put at second base at some point to work on that. No, it was that we might have to go to a top of the 10th inning. What a note to Didi.
It's got to be strange for DD to come back too, right?
I would think, you know, what he did in New York, and I know the folks in New York recognize it, was one of the hardest things anybody would ever have to do.
Come behind that guy.
And it's to replace Derek Jeter and to do it and be so unfazed by the whole thing. It's this one out to shortstop. Torres, his buddy, throws him out, and the inning is over. No runs, 2 hits, and 2 men left. We played 3.5. Phillies hanging on to a 2-0 lead.
Been good. It's great having Didi on our team. He's played extremely well, especially in this 2.0, as we call it. And I think he's grown really fond of his teammates, and his teammates love him. You know, as you said, there's some other Yankees that we've have in camp. You know, what Torreyes is here, and everyone loves Toe. I mean, how can you not love Toe and the energy that he brings? And him and Gene Segura have a great banter going on during every inter-squad game that we have. So it's been enjoyable having the guys on the team.
Yeah, Joe has said that from the outset, and we were talking about Didi and what he even meant to the Yankees and what the Phillies hope he's going to mean for them as their starting shortstop. You know, he took over for Jeter, which is not easy at all. He played 155 games his first year, 9 home runs, 56 RBIs, but then the next 3 years had 20 home runs or more.
Pretty impressive. I mean, he's one of those guys you love to have in your club, not just as a player, but just as a person. Was really calming influence for that Yankees club, and like I said, like a keystone over there. Got a chance to watch him 38 times in the 2 years I was in Boston. And
was that enjoyable?
Well, I don't know how enjoyable it was, but it was like a knockdown drag out. It was like a heavyweight battle every single time out.
2 balls and no strikes to Aaron Hicks. 4th inning for Velasquez. And it's 3-0.
He always had a big base hit against us somehow. He was real clutch.
And I know last year it was cut short because of the injury. Played just 82 games. But, you know, if you were the Yankees, I don't know if they expected that that's what he would be when they brought him in to replace Jeter.
You know, Cash did a nice job on that one. I mean, that's a tough guy to replace, and he had not had the kind of success that he had enjoyed as a New York Yankee. But I guess he was in Arizona prior, right?
Yeah, he started with Cincinnati and Arizona, and then after that second year with Arizona is when he was traded to the Yankees.
Saw him make one of the most athletic plays I've ever seen a player make when he was really young. Someone hit a line drive right over his head when he was in Cincinnati. I thought, who is this guy? And he jumped up, probably looked like a 6 feet to grab one.
Well, here's Voit, who struck out, or excuse me, here's Sanchez with Voit on deck. Sanchez struck out his first time up. Inside, 1-0.
Nice to see him tighten up that pitch count after that first inning.
Yep. Yeah, I think the bases loaded, the walk to load up the bases. He had a hit batter, strikeout, single, strikeout, walk, and then another strikeout of Sanchez to finish up that inning. But then there was some kind of an adjustment made going into the second inning after that leadoff double. Because he's got 7 in a row retired. And he's throwing everything.
The whole arsenal. Looks like he's pitching confidently, too.
Mm-hmm.
Saw him fighting himself a little bit in that first inning, and then since then he's kind of settled in. And that's part of the maturation process. I mean, he's going to have to do that to be a major league pitcher and be effective.
Line drive to left field. That'll hang up for Hazley. 2 outs. And here's Voit.
Again, the fact that he's mixing up his pitches, that pitch wasn't a great pitch because it was belt high, but he's mixing up his pitches, and really the hitters can't sit on anything, one particular pitch.
I think, we've talked about the fact that we're here in Philadelphia at Citizens Bank Park calling a game that's in New York. One of the positives, I think, is watching his changeup on the monitor.
Yeah.
Just getting a look at it because it's a pitch that that and the cutter that he's really started to try to push during the layoff. But I think the changeup has been fun to watch from that center field camera.
Really big for him because, as we know, you can't go hard with everything. These are major league hitters. They're going to adjust. And they can hit, they can put a barrel on a bullet if they like to.
Mm-hmm.
It's about throwing off their timing, being able to use a variety of pitches, getting their, just making weaker contact to the barrel.
1 ball, 1 strike. It'll go out of play.
T-Mac, there's that fine line between having energy and being aggressive and being settled, right?
Mm-hmm.
And again, that's one of those things is the more he pitches, I think the more he continues to work with JT and Brian Price and the rest of the staff. I think there's a lot of talent to uncover there.
Wow.
Great pitch.
There we go again.
Great changeup.
Changeup to finish up the bottom of the 4th inning. He gets Voit looking. He's retired 9 straight. We'll be back right after this. Ball is brought to you by Xfinity, the fastest internet in Philadelphia. Phillies are up at Yankee Stadium where they're taking on the Yankees tonight. We go to the top of the 5th inning. We're here in Philadelphia. Phillies have a young catcher by the name of Logan O'Hoppe, who is part of the 60 men that they have with them. And Joe Girardi was talking about him today. And we said he's just 20 years old. And Joe was talking about the fact that he has not really missed a beat, even though he's that young. And he was asked, what are some of the things he can gather from being part of this and probably going to Lehigh Valley after the rosters are cut down?
Sure.
What he can learn at the age of 20. There's a lot he can learn from the guy that's up at the plate right now.
No question about it. It's a great experience for these young men. My understanding is a very good defensive catcher. He's got a chance to be real good.
What a pitch to Realmuto.
Anytime you can get the experience of being around these types of players, these veteran types of players, it is critical. They can take that stuff back for years.
Yeah, and Joe was saying that he had I don't think he realized he was going to be here for the summer camp 2.0. O'Hoppe, that is.
Right.
We didn't know he was going to be here, but he was prepared and in shape and, has done everything that they've asked him to do, including getting some at-bats. And I agree with Joe when he said this. He doesn't look overmatched in his at-bats, even though his numbers were not great last year in the minors as an offensive player. There's ball 4 to Realmuto.
I think for his first year, he actually swung the bat pretty well.
Yeah.
He had pretty good numbers.
Well, speaking of him, why are we bringing him up? Because look at this. This is Manny Machado against CC Sabathia. Hits this bomb into the upper deck. That is Logan O'Hoppe. April 6, 2018 from West Islip, New York. And he fires it back into the plate.
Cannon. No, knew he had a great arm.
That was a great catch.
That's a heck of a catch. That is hilarious. Brought that? Who found that?
The folks up at the Yankees found it for us. I mean, it's hysterical. I mean, first of all, they made that catch like that.
East Islip? Is that where you're from?
West.
Islip. Always get those two mixed up.
Got to throw the records out, though, when they face each other.
Right.
1 ball and 1 strike. Bullpen action for the Yankees. Nick Nelson is warming up under the watchful eye of Mike Harkey. Outside, 2-1. By the way, at the end of the last half inning, I think we saw Vince Velasquez pick up his rosin bag. There's nobody warming up in the Phillies bullpen. He was just picking it up because it's his rosin bag.
Right.
Every pitcher has their own.
Right.
So you don't want to leave it at the back of the mound.
Probably got a little excited the way he's dealing it right now, running off the mound.
Well, when he picked it up, I thought, all right, my notes say that they wanted 5 up and downs. Here we go. He went back for it. He got it.
Brave New World.
Brave New World.
There's a lot of talk about these new things that are happening in baseball, but I think in a lot of ways this can bring teams together. They're together a lot. They're going to be traveling to and from the ballpark together.
Yeah, there's very little separation.
Right.
You're in a group for BP, and you're pretty much staying in that group from what we gather.
You're socially distancing, but you're still in the same area, in the
Right.
same space. And there was a time for a long time, a lot of teams had guys, 25 players, 25 cabs, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's not going to happen.
No, they're kind of forcing the collectiveness of the team.
Yep.
With all this. All right, so 2 on, nobody out here in the top of the 5th inning. David Hale on in relief of Davy Garcia, who went the first inning in 2/3. Hale had picked up 2 1/3 scoreless, but he's walked 3 now. And here's Kingery, who has walked 2 times. Fly ball out to left. Not deep, playable for Gardner. One away.
One of those situations where he's probably trying to look to do some damage. I'd like to see him maybe drive the ball to the opposite side of the field just to move runners. But again, these guys are trying to get their timing. They're trying to do a lot of things in a very short period of time. So probably just trying to get his barrel in the ball.
Yeah. Well, Aaron Boone comes out, and that will be it for David Hale. He'll take the baseball and head on out. Nelson is coming in. We've got a pitching change for the Yankees here in the top of the 5th inning. 1 out, 2 runners on. We'll be back with the new pitcher right after this. 24-year-old from Panama City, Florida. The Yankees took him in the 4th round in the 2016 draft. So he'll take over for David Hale. Hale did a good job. I mean, the runners on base are his responsibility, but he was a solid guy tonight.
Did a nice job. He got a little tired there at the end. You could tell.
Yeah. And I think that's what you're seeing from some pitchers where they fatigue toward the end of their outings. Hazley takes upstairs.
That's some gas right there.
It was 98 and free and easy. He started 17 games last year in the minor leagues on 3 different levels and was 8-3 with a 2.81 earned run average. They got a couple of guys that they're excited about. Mike King is one of them. And the Schmidt kid, Clark Schmidt.
No, they got a lot of really, really good young arms.
Was it Loizaga?
Loizaga, yeah. I think that's how you pronounce it, right?
Yeah, Jonathan Loizaga.
Wow, I saw him throw the ball. Wow, he's got a great arm. And he may be part of that starting mix
he could
too,
be.
right?
Yep. You know, 2 outs.
Good looking swing by Adam Hazley right there. And a bullet.
But as you said, it's good for exhibition games, but he's going back to the dugout saying,
Yeah.
Gosh darn it.
Because he's competing for a job.
Yeah. It's a nice problem to have if Roman stays healthy, if they can have both of them. I mean, Joe obviously loves the speed that Roman Quinn brings.
It can be a game changer and real dynamic player. They both bring something to the table. Adam's a good, solid defender. He can play everywhere in the outfield.
He made some really good plays last year in
Yep.
center field.
Yep.
0-1 to Walker. Walker's grounded out. He's also lined out to right. Mm.
97 at the knees. It's a big, strong, strapping young man.
That's a tough one to not get if you're the pitcher. Change up.
Cambio. Good one. The old equalizer.
It sure was.
Thank you.
We're at number 79, which you might say, well, that's a spring training number. But no, if he makes the team, that's probably the number he's going to wear.
Right. The rest of them are retired.
Right. Another changeup, back-to-back changeups. He gets Walker swinging. 2 walks. Phillies leave a couple. Hey, the Statue of Liberty in all of its majesty. Deposit today. Season ticket benefits include pre-sale opportunity for all 2021 single games, including home opener, the Yankees games, the Red Sox games. Now, it's available to all new accounts. Existing season ticket holders will receive 2020 renewal information in the next few weeks. Go to Phillies.com/season deposits or call 215-463-5000. Be nice if they're raising the banner in 2021. Rick Gardner will lead it off. Velasquez will indeed start this fifth inning. The hope is that they wanted 5 up and downs. So that means they wanted him to get to the fifth inning and, maybe even finish it. They had Blake Parker stirring a little bit in the bullpen, but he has sat down. Fly ball. Out towards short left. Gregorius will give way to Adam Hazley. 2 out, or 1 out here in the fifth inning. And now Urshela. How important is it, Ruben, for him to finish this inning here, just from an arm strength standpoint?
I think it's important, but I think even more so for his psyche, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because will have pitched 2 really, really good outings going into the season. He's already pitched real well. He's settled in really well here. Nice to see him finish it off. Again, fatigue can get to him. I mean, it's hot out there. It's probably, 95 to almost.
It's 95 at first pitch. I don't think it's cooled off. It certainly hasn't here.
Tell you what, he's not sweating. You're looking him on the monitor here. He's looks cool as a cucumber.
Mm-hmm. We're told 91 in the Bronx.
It's not chilly.
No.
Still got some life to the fastball, but he's throwing strikes, and that's critical.
I think there are a number of things you take out of it, no matter what happens in this fifth inning. 6 strikeouts, but the changeup has been effective. In the curveball, there have been times where it's been up, but it's effective in that zone. And now the 2-2 pitch. $70 pitches. All right, so that's not too far off from where they would like him to be if it's 5 innings. They want him probably between 70 and 75. Maybe they can push him a little bit.
Anytime you get under 15 pitches per inning on average, you're doing your job, particularly in this day and age.
Out to right field. That's going to drop in for a hit. Williams will cut it off on 1 hop and hold Urshela to a single. So a 1-out base hit. Let's see what Joe Girardi decides to do.
Tell you what, he made a really good pitch. You got to give Urshela some credit here. He stayed on this breaking ball after not having seen one this whole at bat. Stayed on and punched it to right. Nice piece of hitting. Threw this breaking ball right where he wanted to. Look at this. Sometimes you got to give the hitter a little credit.
Well, here's LeMahieu, who is 0 for 1, hit by a pitch his first time up. And that one's to first. Hoskins has got it. And he touched the first base bag and then tags out Urshela. and the inning is over. Well, I'll tell you, I know it's only an exhibition game, but 5 solid innings from Vince Velasquez. Within 75 pitches, we'll head to the 6th.
Isn't it? I guess we're going to miss it. Oh.
Well, it's a free-for-all sometimes with Exhibition Baseball 2020. Vince Velasquez is going to try to get a 4th out here in the 5th inning. I really thought...
We're all making adjustments.
Well, everybody was walking off the field, so we were following everybody else. But then Brian Price came out and yelled over to the Yankee dugout, and I think they decided that he was going to throw to one more batter.
Oh, nice cutter.
So he's going 5+ here. So fun. I mean, we've done so many spring training games, and sometimes we'll go 10 innings just to go 10 innings, but we've never had stuff like this happen.
Can't be surprised by anything, T-Mac.
No. Nope. You have to be open-minded in 2020.
But that cutter changeup combo platter right there.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Brian Price and Dave Lundquist chatting in the dugout.
Ooh.
Out toward right center field. It's going to go. I think it still counts. Aaron Judge is going to run around the bases, and that'll be it for Vince Velasquez. Clap of the hands from Joe Girardi. Hang with us in the bottom of the 6th to see if Judge bats again. We'll find out. In the bottom of the 5th inning, Velasquez, the last hitter he faced, gave up the solo home run to Aaron Judge. His night's been excellent, though. I mean, it really has.
Terrific.
6 strikeouts.
Uses all his pitches. Breaking ball. Another great breaking ball. Froze him. Nice little cutter. The changeup. Great stuff.
So Judge, he doesn't know if he should run around. Got to practice your home run trot. All right, so Velasquez 5+. 4 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, and 6 strikeouts.
Really nice outing. Great back-to-back outings for him. That's got to be a real big boost for him and our rotation.
Yeah, I mean, it's early on in these inter-squad games before we started playing exhibitions, he had the upper hand. But now with Zach Eflin and his back issue, he'll throw a sim game on Thursday. There's spots, but there's also spots even if Zach is healthy. You're going to need more than the 5 starters, particularly early on.
Well, in a regular season, you usually use, 10 or 11 of them.
Oh, yeah. There was the one year.
Oh.
I can't remember the one year.
We had 5.
We had 5. It had to be 09,
Might
right?
have been 09. We were very fortunate.
So either 09 or 10. No, it couldn't have been 09 because we got Cliff Lee. Breaking ball.
Oh, one of those years we literally had 5 starters.
5 starters.
And they went post to post.
Kept fishing around saying, when was the last time something like that happened?
Right.
Swing and a miss. 98 down in the zone. All right, so 1 out. Bohm's coming up. Mikey Matuk is out of the on-deck circle. Blake Parker's warming up at the bullpen.
A little bit of an emergency hack right there on that 98 down.
Yeah.
Oof.
Tapper, shortstop. Torres throws out Bohm. 2 outs.
Just some concern about whether Torres would be able to play well enough defensively. He struggled a little bit early in spring training, but it's been pretty flawless tonight.
Yankees beat writers asked Didi Gregorius if they could offer any advice to him because they're friends.
Yeah.
And he did say that, that they have talked about it.
And Didi's one of those guys that will be happy to help and mentor, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what he is.
Mikey Matuk bats here for Roman Quinn.
Talked about this before. I saw him play quite a bit in Detroit, 2 or 3 years ago, I guess. And came on the scene and was playing pretty good for him for a while. And then I guess he got bounced around and he played most of his season in Toledo last year, right?
Yeah, he had some good numbers in Toledo. Joe said he is still taking a look at him, though, because he's got power. He said the contact is, the ball off the bat, velocity is there.
And again, another really good piece of depth. If he's not making our club, somebody can step up if somebody goes down.
His best year was 17. He had 109 games. He had 12 home runs, 38 runs batted in, 276 batting average for the Tigers. He started out with the Rays. So we're going to miss. Well, that was an effective inning.
Oh, this guy's got great stuff.
He sure does. Phillies go down in order. We'll go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Blake Parker's coming in.
ER docket in Spira Medical Center in Woodbury, New Jersey, and he was felled by COVID-19 about a month and a half ago. He was out of work for about a month after, working with patients. He was actually in spring training, guys, when everything shut down. He was with his son, Jason. They flew home, and he went back to work, and then he suffered his attack of COVID-19. So he's doing better. That is good news. He is back to work. You can see right there. I'm actually holding my phone up because he's having a conversation with Phillies bullpen coach Jim Gott there, who also has recovered from COVID-19. Those guys got a chance to talk. So we surprised him this morning. We said, kind of representing all the fans that aren't going to be able to be there on opening day. The Phillies provided some cool gift baskets with all kinds of cool stuff. Rhys Hoskins autographed bat. There's a Scott Kingery autographed baseball in there as well. His wife Tony and his daughter Stephanie were there, as well as the son Jason. So fun this morning. Good chance to surprise someone and just let the fans know that we're thinking about them, even though they can't be here at Citizens Bank or up there at Yankee Stadium.
I think that's a great way to finish that, Murph, is that to let the fans know that we're thinking about them. We get a chance, thankfully, to be able to do these games, but it's not the same. And Joe has even said that, Girardi, that it's not the same. It's not going to be the same. But it's a great way to end that because we miss the fans. We miss everything about having the fans here at the ballpark.
And the fans here, particularly in Philadelphia, are just absolutely irreplaceable. They create an atmosphere that's just really extraordinary here and always have.
And obviously, guys, we want to thank all the first responders, all the doctors and the nurses, and all the essential workers that have, kind of been keeping on as this entire shutdown has happened. And, putting themselves in harm's way. As Dr. Herezniak found out that, treating these patients, he became a patient himself, was in the hospital for a couple of weeks. So we thank them for all their hard work, and we recognize them. And it was good to be with them this morning and good to see that he is back healthy. I was making the house call this morning.
Yes, you were.
Yeah. Well, really, the Fanatic was. I was just tagging along.
2-1 pitch from Parker. Swing and a miss by Torres. It's 2-2. Blake Parker's spring, and we're showing you the spring training stats, and we understand that it's a carryover from March, but those were the numbers for Blake. Phillies picked him up during last season. And he did go. So he's down on strikes. Well, Joe Girardi talked today about how everybody's adjusting to life without the fans.
In the beginning, we were doing, inter-squad games. We didn't have the music or the crowd noise in there. We were playing at 1 o'clock. And I think since we've moved to nighttime, which we did in some of the inter-squads, and then we introduced the crowd noises, the umpires, and playing other teams, I think they are getting more familiar with what it's going to be like. And I think they're adjusting pretty well. It's not what anyone wants. We all want fans there. We know that, and we miss them dearly, but it's not what we have this year, and we have to adjust.
I think that's how everybody feels around baseball, is that we have to adjust. And, like anything else, you adjust, and the more you do it, the easier it becomes. But then when fans are allowed back in, which is hopefully going to happen next year, going to be incredible.
Bring them on. It'll be exciting.
Yep.
And I'm sure the fans are chomping at the bit. I mean, it's a tough go and a tough time for everyone, but can't wait to have them back here. It's a game of adjustments.
And it's been a life of adjustments this year.
No question.
2 balls and 1 strike. Stanton, we got a front foot out in front of it, popped up to Real Muto, and he puts it away.
That was a big league pop-up right there. Some hang time.
It sure was. I forgot we had the other monitor where we could have seen how high that ball went.
There's a stat for that, right?
There is a stat for that.
There's an old scout who used to measure a guy's power by how high he could hit a pop-up.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did it translate?
I'm not sure. You don't want guys to be hitting a lot of pop-ups, do you?
No.
No.
I wonder how that was explained, though, when he went into
I'm going to try to think of he's a well-known scout. He's been around for a long, long time. God. Getting older.
We all are. It'll come to you at like 2 o'clock in the morning. You'll be like, I remember who that is. See the overshift with Hicks up. 1 ball, no strikes with 2 outs, bottom of the 6th.
Good spot.
Three and oh. Mentioned we'll also get a chance to see Damon Jones a little later on. Phillies left-hander.
Some guys battling for positions.
Yeah. And Joe has continued to say, Anthony Swarzak was given his release today, that they're feeling like they may go young because there's going to be so many guys. 16 pitchers they're going to keep.
It's good to give them some flexibility, too. I mean, guys with options, there's all types of things that come into this.
Some of those young guys.
They want to have as much depth as they possibly can, so I can understand that. Oh, good changeup.
3-2.
Parker's got to be a guy who's got to change speeds. He's got to throw strikes. Again, it's about deception. And again, you don't have to throw the ball 100 miles an hour to get people out. You just have to put it in the right spot.
That's why he moves around so much out on the mound, too. You know, just every advantage he can get.
Mm-hmm.
It runs away. Ball 4. So a 2-out walk.
That is something he cannot do.
No. Gary Sanchez is coming up. Yankees have Zach Britton warming up in the bullpen. Actually, this is Miguel Andujar that'll be hitting for the Yankees.
It'd be amazing if this guy's an actual extra for this club.
I mean, they're trying to find a spot for him to play in the outfield, which means that, you know,
what do you do with Brett Gardner?
Brett Gardner wouldn't play, or Aaron Hicks wouldn't play. He's had a little trouble adjusting throw-wise in the outfield, but
he was having trouble in the infield at third base, right?
Yes.
Might have had a little bit of the thing.
The yips.
Yeah.
That one just missed low, 2-0. You know, I watched Perry Hill break somebody of that with an amazing drill, which I've seen and I've offered to kids over the years, where he would take a basket of baseballs. Perry Hill, longtime infield coach for the Marlins, but he would take a basket of baseballs and he would start the infielder as that ball's popped foul. We believe out of play. He'd start the infielder 20 feet away from the first base bag, and he put the bucket of balls behind him, the basket of balls. And he would just have the infielder take it and fire, and not even think. Then move it back another 5 feet, then move it back another 10 feet to try to break him of the sort of the yips of having trouble throwing it from, let's say, the third base side to the first base side.
That's real interesting. It's almost like working on your putting game, right?
Exactly. It's trying to get your muscle memory to change from where, you know, where you were having the trouble with it.
I had the yips myself. It's one of the reasons why I got moved to the outfield as a young player. And
where were you playing? Third?
Playing third and second base. But it's amazing. It's a terrible feeling when the ball feels like a napkin when you're throwing it over there.
Matt Carpenter, Ryan Zimmerman.
You can make a million throws in practice and in the game, a routine ground ball, and you have no idea where it's going to go.
No idea. Even John Lester throwing over to first base from the mound.
Yep.
3 balls and 2 strikes to Andujar.
Steve Sachs, right?
Steve Sachs, Chuck Knobloch.
Chuck Knobloch. These are like Gold Glove level infielders who really struggled with it.
Yeah, there was a catcher, Mackie Sasser.
Sure. Couldn't throw the ball back.
Could not throw the ball back to the mound. Another one low, ball 4. So back-to-back walks now with 2 outs. Phillies baseball is brought to you by your Tri-State GMC dealers. Lower Manhattan. Our vantage point is Center City here in the booth at Citizens Bank Park.
You spent a little time in New York there, Tom.
Yeah.
Where'd you live there?
I lived where I live now. I just drove
Commuted.
back and forth. Yes.
What?
Yes. The miles on that truck
Wow.
going through the streets of New York.
You're Kratzy.
I was like Eric Kratz. That's exactly right. Here is
There
Eric
he
Kratz. Eric Kratz just keeps on hanging on. A life in baseball.
This is one of those guys that if he shows up on your team late in the season, you're going to the playoffs. Playoffs kind of follow him around. To Milwaukee last year.
Took him a long time to get to the big leagues, but he has bounced from one big league team to another. And he rips one into left field. Oop. Picked on one hop. The runner coming home. That's a heck of a throw.
That's a nice play. Pick and throw.
Yeah,
you don't see that happen very often.
And the side is retired. Well, the Phil's getting a little defense. We'll go to the 7th. It's 2-1. Move to the top of the 7th inning. I think the story tonight, I don't know what you think, Ruben, is Vince Velasquez, 5+ innings, 1 run, 6 strikeouts. The 1 run was the final batter, an extra batter in the 5th inning. He gave up a home run to Aaron Judge, but beyond that, he was excellent.
Really good mixing up his pitches and controlling the strike zone and his emotions, right?
Yep.
Throwing strikes, following JT's lead. Really impressive outing, particularly with his changeup and mixing in that cutter from time to time. And he was getting away with some of those pitches that might have been hit in the past, but because he had that whole arsenal working, it just takes the hitters a little bit more difficult for them to make the adjustments.
Well, by the way, that was Kyle Garlick that made that throw from left field after scooping it on one hop. A couple of the changes the Phillies have made. Phil Gosselin is in the game. In fact, I think this is Phil coming up to the plate right now. They'll face Zach Britton.
We know where they're hitting.
All right, so Gosselin is up now. That means he's in for Didi Gregorius.
Right.
There's Phil. There's a line drive to right center field. That'll be in for a base hit. He just keeps on hitting.
Absolute hitting machine. He barrels the ball so often, it's uncanny.
So a double to right center field. He's had himself a good last week.
Real good.
He's putting a little pressure on as far as the extra men go.
Great swing. Stays right through it. Stays inside it. Barrels it up for a double. He's really swung the bat great lately.
The other day, he was 5 for 5 in the inter-squad game.
Is that good?
It just kept hitting one rocket after another.
And it's not just a fastball. It's not just he's making good, solid contact on everything.
So Britton will face Kyle Garlick, and Garlick takes a strike. It's 0-1. You saw from that shot, from that double, Clint Frazier, number 77, is in right field for the Yankees. We'll try to get you all their changes, too, as we move forward. Phillies changes for at least this exhibition game. We'll let you know where they're playing in the field, but we'll have to wait till they step into the on-deck circle to let you know where they're hitting. Outside, 95 from Zach Britton. Nick Nelson, who pitched earlier for the Yankees, is still throwing in the bullpen, so they're trying to get his pitch count up. Like a lot of teams, yesterday the Orioles were stretching out. They're stretching out like 8 or 9 guys. The Yankees are stretching guys out too, not only for starting spots, but also for more than one inning of work. Low again, 3-1.
Good test for some of these guys who are trying to battle for a spot right now as they face some of their back end guys.
Out to shortstop, Estrada, who Aaron Boone called the MVP of Summer Camp 2.0, makes that play.
The catcher, JT Real.
It's where you want to really move the runner. You got a 2-0 game. It's a close game. That's one of those situations where you want to really think about moving that runner and get him to third base with less than 2 outs. Good job by Goslin not getting caught up in that pickle there.
You could see him dancing a little bit. He knew that the ball was hit too sharply, and it was right in front of him.
Yep.
It wasn't to his left or hit softly. All right, so here's JT. JT is 1 for 2. This is most likely his final at bat. We'll see. Chatting with Eric Kratz as he stands in. Kratz is behind the plate. We saw him pinch hit. Wade is at second base for the Yankees. Here the dirt gets away from Kratz. Over to third goes Goslin. So the Phillies do get a runner to third base with less than 2 outs.
That was the plan.
What would you do if you were managing with the extra inning placement of the runner at second? Would you bunt or would you swing away? Would it depend on who's up?
So many different factors. In this day and age, there's not that many guys who can handle the bat enough to just ask him to move the runner. I think generally you want to try to have the guy drive the ball to the opposite field or to the right side of the infield and think about, double jeopardy, right? You want to try to drive the guy in and move him over if you don't actually drive him in. So again, it depends on the matchups. It depends on who's the next hitter. You have to consider possibly bunting the guy over.
Right.
Again, it depends on whether you're the visiting team or the home team, playing for 1 run, playing for 2 runs, multiple runs.
But in that extra inning, the 10th inning, would you move him over? Nice play by Britton. He holds Goslin at third. I guess it's the same thing. It would just depend.
It would really just depend on the type of hitter and who's hitting behind.
Shortstop, Ronald Torres.
JT wants us at bat back.
He does.
He's usually really solid in that situation, situationally. Britton's got a pretty nasty sinker.
All right, so here is Torres This was Hoskins' spot in the lineup.
I know we're just an exhibition baseball game, but you really want to try to drive that run in. It's a critical run deep in the game. That 1 point really is going to matter.
Ground ball left side. And Estrada will throw out to Reyes, and the inning is over. So the Phils do get the leadoff double, but they do not score. Time to stretch up at Yankee Stadium. Phillies are on top, 2-1. New York, where Vince Velasquez went 5+ innings tonight, and he just spoke to the media.
Again, I'm that's their decision to make. I mean, I'm the one that's going out there just trying to pitch and get outs and try to help the team win. I mean, this is a short season, so I'm trying to get ready as soon as possible. You practice like you play, and I'm just one of those guys where if I know I need to get something done, I'm going to get it done. So the fact that I'm capable of going out there and performing like I did, if I continue that day in, day out, it's going to answer itself.
Vince Velasquez talking to the media just after he came out at Yankee Stadium, and you hear him saying, that kind of decision, the decisions whether or not he's going to be in the rotation and where he'll be will kind of work itself out, guys. And I think you would agree that you watch him tonight, and he certainly looks like he has grown as a pitcher. He talked a little bit about the cut fastball and how much he used it tonight. He said that during the quarantine, he was picking Dave Lundquist's brain, the Phillies assistant pitching coach, about how Lundy used to throw his cutter, and then he just started working on it. He said it became a pitch he thought he could use against righties and lefties. We saw that tonight. And, he doesn't have to rely on just the high fastball, the high velocity fastball to get guys out. And he also used that changeup very effectively. And Ruben, you said it, as he was finishing up, when he has an arsenal at his fingertips, he's going to be able to be a lot more effective rather than just hanging on that one pitch.
No question, Murph, and that's what he did tonight. We talked about it earlier, but real effective. Even when he was missing in the zone, he's missing the barrel because the hitters just aren't able to make those adjustments.
I think this, again, I know there are fans out there that said we've been here before with Vince, but this has been eye-opening these last couple of weeks. So let's hold off until he does it during the regular season, but it's really a nice sign. Really is.
Better than the alternative, right?
Better than the alternative. Robert Stock is the new pitcher for the Phils. Two balls and one strike. Stock, 30-year-old, originally selected in the second round by the Cardinals, hard thrower. He's fallen behind 3-1. Joe Girardi talked the other day and said the only way he can be effective, and he has been in these summer camp games, get ahead.
Those strikes.
Fastball's good, but his secondary stuff is really good too. But when he does that, that's where he runs into trouble.
And that's the difference. I mean, it's all about throwing strikes and being able to have the hitters make contact.
Mm-hmm.
It's not necessarily about the strikeout. You got to throw strikes, and the last thing you want to see is people come in and come out of the pen and walk people.
Urshela, who is 1 for 2, retired on a nice play. His first time up. As Gardner goes back. Gardner stole 10 bags last year.
Doesn't run like he used to, but he'll pick his spots. Stock is not real quick to the plate, so he may try to take advantage even though they're down a run.
1 ball, 1 strike.
Although you don't see a lot of guys running in spring training.
No.
Unless they're young kids, the Roman Quinns of the world.
When it's really part of their repertoire.
Arsenal, yeah.
Two and one. '97. The throw to first.
Almost got it.
If not for the slide. Marchand, the catcher.
Wow. Would have got him if Goss was back there.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. Nice job by Gardner changing up his hands.
Rafael Marchand, who we saw during spring training.
Yeah, real impressive during spring training. I didn't.
Another young kid. They just added him the other day.
Oh, okay. I was wondering whether he'd be able to get here.
What's that?
I was wondering whether he'd be able to get here because they really.
Well, that
like
is
him.
true. Yeah. But he's another one of those 20-year-old kids. If he hits a little bit.
Joe talking about how mature he looked like. How he handled things in the early part of the spring.
Yeah, he was enjoyable to watch during spring training. His defense was eye-opening. And just the way he was carrying himself. Brooks Kriske in the bullpen. Runner goes. Boy, he had that bag. Swipes. Knotuck doesn't see it. Now he does.
Right. That's a scary thought. That's a scary feeling.
Baseball's back. The MLB app is the only place to get all your baseball action. In-game video highlights, breaking news, player updates, stat, leaderboards, standings, game day live, pitch by pitch, and much more. Download the MLB app today, the official app of Major League Baseball.
That ball goes up in the air like that in the twilight. It is scary.
Yeah, I looked up
You
here.
just can't see a thing.
Well, I looked up here because we're in Philadelphia, of course, and I'm like, that does look like a sky that would be tough to see the baseball.
It's where you're hoping and praying you're in the right spot when you finally see it.
At least in the neighborhood.
Right.
The throw over.
He's not quick to the plate, but he's got a real quick pickoff move.
'97 at the bottom of the zone.
The Marchand stealing that strike right there. Working underneath the ball.
He's got soft hands behind the plate. Tyler Wade did not think that was a strike. Good
Great
play.
block. Wow. In a big part of the game. athletic this is. This ball should have been back to the backstop. Really good feet right there.
Tyler Wade was having a good spring first couple of weeks and then started to struggle. That ball is picked by Gosselin. They get one, and now Gardner is tagged out for the third out.
It's the second time that's happened.
Second time. Hold on, because the last time they stayed on the field, we went to break.
Hold on.
All right, they're taking a break. So we'll take one with them. We go to the 8th inning. It's 2-1 Phils. To you by your local Chevrolet dealers. Phillies have two right-handers warming up. The big guy is Ramon Rosso. Lavara is the other one, I think. Sort of screens.
Tommy, you know what I'm loving?
What's that?
The defense.
Defense has been good. Two plays by the first baseman, Hoskins and Gosselin, and Marchand behind the plate.
Really nice. Flashing some leather out there.
Roman Quinn's made a good play.
Win some baseball games that way.
Well, the Phillies are hanging on to a one-run lead. Looks like Kriski's in the ballgame. He is. And Josh Harrison will lead things off for the Phillies.
Jay Hay.
The J-Head kid. On the outside corner. Another guy coming in throwing 96. Brooks Kriski. Oh, and 2.
Right off the table.
Yeah, after throwing 96. And a call, strike 3.
And a changeup. He went fastball, slider, changeup.
Harrison, I think, just asked if that ball, was that a knuckler?
Maybe it was a split. I don't know what the guy's arsenal is.
Well, with one out, here's the pitch. Knuckle curve, maybe?
No, I think it was a changeup.
Yeah.
He may have split his grip. No, he was up in the zone.
Yeah.
I think that was one of the reasons why he looked a little disgusted after that pitch, right?
He did look like he was walking around the mound thinking, oh, man. Nick Martini, the batter, with a count 0-1 here in the top of the 8th inning. Fights it off. It's 0-2. Yovera is sat down in the bullpen. It's just Rosso that's warming up. The 0-2 pitch to Martini. Foul tip. He was happier with that pitch. 2 outs.
but not ecstatic. He's still a little angry at himself. Maybe he didn't feel like he elevated it enough.
I don't know. It was going to be tough for anybody to catch it.
97 up there.
Well, yeah, I guess Kratzy did want it a
He
little
went
higher.
a little higher.
So here's Marchand. I know we've talked a lot about him, spring training and even tonight. If you watch just for a moment, truly just for a moment, in the way he handles the pitches coming in, I think you'll have a pretty good idea of what kind of a player he is. It's one of those guys that if he hits 261 like he did last year with his defense, he's going to stick with somebody, and it's hopefully here in Philadelphia.
Real impressive. I've only seen him very short period of time, but love the hands, like the athleticism.
Got up to Clearwater last year. As a 20-year-old. He's now 21 years old. He just turned 21 this past February.
Sounds like a great kid too, from what I understand. Just trying to learn. Is that another Sal Augustinelli special? Gotta be, right?
From Venezuela.
Yep.
Why don't you text him and see if he's another one of his specials?
I think I will. The land of catchers down there in Venezuela.
It's that foul, and it remains 2-2.
I think I will.
Get some more information on him, how he found him, all that stuff. That's called BLP, Big League Preparation, Ruben. Then you can hand it to all of us.
Gotta do a better job of that.
3-2.
Sal lost a real good friend the other day.
Yeah, we were talking about that last night. Nice play by Wade. The side is retired between Bart Braun and Mike Ryan, Tony Taylor.
Rough.
It's been a tough couple weeks.
Sure has.
The season against the Marlins at Citizens Bank Park. Tune in to NBC Sports Philadelphia to watch the games Saturday, July 25th at 4:05, Sunday the 26th at 1:05. And that's here at Citizens Bank Park. It all starts on Friday.
Cannot wait.
Can't wait to get it rolling.
Major League Baseball. Oh, it's been a long time, hasn't it?
It has, and I'm excited to see how it all unfolds. Ramon Rosso is the new pitcher for the Phillies as we start the bottom of the 8th inning. And the first pitch to DJ LeMahieu is in there for a strike. All right, so DJ LeMahieu batting here after hitting into the double play to end the last inning.
That's not fair.
0-1 is fouled away. It's 0-2. Along with Ruben Amaro, his first game. It's part of our NBC Sports Philadelphia family. Greg Murphy's in the other booth as we social distance. All right, so it's been enjoyable.
It's been great. But you're a professional, so you're easy to work with.
We have a big TV that we're looking at, so that's been helping all of us. So
It is strange. There's no question about that.
Yeah, it is. And we always talk about this new normal that people have talked about. This is just new, but we're hoping it's not normal moving forward after this year. That's the thing. We're just, we're hopefully everybody's enjoying at least watching what's happening on the field.
I think we're just taking a little zigzag here, and
zigzag.
It'll be nice to be able to provide the fans with something to watch other than a news report, right?
Mm-hmm. Breaking ball, that's in there for strike. It's 0-1, and we get a chance to. We're fortunate because we're at a beautiful ballpark. We may be 90 miles away from where the game is being played, but we are at a beautiful ballpark. Hang with us with a lot of this stuff too, because we're getting information from 90 miles away, and we're learning too on how we can make sure we have everything set as far as the players coming in. Mike Tautman, who's playing center field now, batting for the Yankees, because we're not getting the same kind of information we would get if we were at the ballpark. Right. So I think we've been rolling pretty good. Carl Graver's over the other side. He's doing stats, and he's getting all the updates for us.
It'll all get ironed out by opening day, I think.
Yeah. The Yes Network's been unbelievable with their coverage. And, we're doing what we call a world feed.
Right.
So I know there's been certain shots the Yankees have shown that have the Yankee side of the ledger. But for the most part, it's been pretty even.
They're trying to be as neutral as they possibly can.
It's a kind of a hybrid telecast, and our director Nick Marquetta can talk to the camera operators in New York, and it'll be vice versa when the Phillies are here. Like last night, the Orioles were here. If the Orioles had picked it up, they would have taken our feed. As Martini gets the throw in to Josh Harrison.
And you may see with some adjustments, right? As the season moves forward, you might see some adjustments. We may be able to travel at some point.
Nice swing.
Very good swing. He's making this club, that kid. He can really swing the bat.
Well, as we said,
I do believe.
Well, it's 30 players for the first couple of weeks, and then it goes down to 28, then to 26. Yep. So there may be young players that people, wouldn't necessarily think would be on teams that will make him. Clint Frazier, he has swung the bat pretty well for the Yankees. He hit a home run the other day with that mask on.
I almost feel like they've been talking about Clint Frazier forever.
No doubt. No doubt. Ever since they acquired him from the Indians.
Tremendous talent. He's been sort of blocked. Has had some issues with his health.
Mm-hmm. He's got power, though.
Great hands. Really quick.
Swing and a miss. 0-2. All 9 pitches from Rosso have been strikes.
Is that good?
Well, sometimes they say you throw one or two out of the zone. But yes, that's very. Oh, there we go.
We jinxed him.
24 years old. Last year he pitched in AAA for 14 games and AA for 10 games. Runner goes. Pitch is low. Marchand's throw to second. He is out at second base.
And he got a great jump. Wow, that was a quick release.
Excellent jump. Excellent tag. And they're 2 away.
Continues to impress this young man. Wow.
Really good job by Harrison.
That's not an easy play. That's a dangerous play. Face tag.
Yeah.
He got a great jump on this, too. Wow. He's athletic.
I think in spring training, we were hoping that people would run on Marchand because it was kind of like Real Muto last year. We wanted to see him throw.
Loving this kid.
And now the 3-2 pitch to Clint Frazier. Inside, ball 4. So a 2-out walk.
See this exchange right here. Just really quick exchange. Wow.
Boink.
He's got some height working right there.
Mm-hmm.
Some ups.
And he's healthy, Josh Harrison. Breaking ball to Giancarlo Stanton, and it's 0-1.
Can't say enough about what health means to these guys, especially as they move forward in their career and they're getting a little longer in the tooth.
Back toward the middle and right at Josh Harrison. Throws out Stanton, and that'll do it for the bottom of the 8th inning. 8 innings in the books. Nice play by Josh Harrison to pick a runner trying to steal. We'll head to the 9th. A long time coming, but the Phillies opening day is finally here. Coverage begins Friday at 6 with a new show called The Warm-Up, leading into Phillies pregame live. Then it's the Phils and the Marlins right here on NBC Sports Philadelphia. Aaron Nola will make the start on Friday night for Joe Girardi. Rob Thompson, Joe Girardi, Joe Dillon. Those are the 3 you see from left to right. Rob is the bench coach, former Yankee bench coach for Joe Girardi, was Gabe Kapler's bench coach, is one of the best baseball guys you'll meet. Organized beyond belief.
Really impressive staff.
Yeah.
Really like the, obviously the players are going about it the right way, and that's a reflection on Joe, but also a reflection on the staff,
Yeah,
the rest of the guys.
That's been the comment about how the players have adjusted to this going forward. Zick is the new pitcher for the Yankees. Last year, he pitched in 45 games, or 2 years ago, pitched in 45 games for the Seattle Mariners at a 2.66 earned run average. Did not pitch at all last year. Phillies lead it 2-1. 94 on the outside corner.
Wanted it on the inside corner and painted the outside corner.
Umpire stayed on it.
Yeah.
Zick has been plagued by arm trouble recently as Bohm rolls over on one of shortstop. Estrada throws him out. way. And back to the top of the order.
Strata kid looks like he's been playing in the big leagues for 10 years. Ground balls like walking.
Aaron Boone could not speak. I was listening to his press conference the other day, and he was just glowing with the way he was praising him. 0-1. Here's Logan O'Hoppe, who, as we come to find out, is a Yankee fan. So this must be an amazing thrill for him to play at Yankee Stadium.
I bet it is.
Considering he was up in the upper deck in left field,
launching home
against
runs
the
back
Orioles
into the
a couple of years ago. It was throwing balls back onto the field.
He's a smile on his face right now.
1 ball and 1 strike.
Oh,
in the air to left field. It's deep but playable. Well, in case you missed it, this is what we're talking about. This is Manny Machado against CC Sabathia. And that is Logan O'Hoppe making a one-handed grab and let it fly. Got into the box and just said, wow.
Hey, it hurts. Those balls are hit hard.
Oh, I know. The fact that he got it with one hand like that. He just said pretty awesome. That's cool.
He literally was smiling while he was at the dish.
20 years old.
Good for him.
Here's Davey Grion, and he takes a ball.
Right down the middle for a ball.
Below the strike zone, we guess. Good pitch. 1-1.
Look at that. You think he's not loving this?
It's pretty sweet.
I'd have been shaking in my boots. I think I was.
He might have been. You don't know. Well, that would be here for you, right? When you batted for the vet for the first time?
First at bat. Yeah, I think I was shaking in my boots. Got a fly ball just like that almost. Deep fly ball to the left field, I think it was.
Check swing, 2-2.
Very nice, Zicker.
Kratz just said pretty nice zicker for Zick.
Turn up that ambient sound a little bit. You can hear everything.
Swing and a miss.
Good pitch.
That's a pretty strong inning for Zick. We go to the bottom of the 9th inning. Joe Girardi's team is looking to finish this one off on top 2-1. We'll be back right after this. The best selection of Phillies apparel, souvenirs, and more. Open Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. until 6 p.m. Visit Phillies.com for more information. Mauricio Llovera is the new pitcher for the Phillies. I was at the New Era store today. The gals that were working there helped me out immensely. Got a couple of shirts. Love the hat selection. I asked, has it been busy? They said, yes, it has, which is good.
Great sign. People are getting excited. I got to believe they're getting excited for baseball.
Yeah. Well, I think part of it, so, and I don't want to speak out of order, but NASCAR first, then golf. And I think people have been able to ease their way into the fact that these events have happened without fans. Although I think there were some fans at some of the NASCAR events. And I think the networks that have handled it really well. And I think that leads you to believe that this, although odd, could work, at least for the short term. Guevara last year in Double-A Reading was 3-4, a 4.82 ERA.
Do you have any idea how many clubs are going to have those cutouts?
It seems like more and more. Yeah, it seems like more and more. I know the Mets have already done it. We're going to do it here.
The A's?
A's, exorbitantly priced, but yes, are doing it. In the dirt to Mike Ford. 2 Princeton guys playing tonight. David Hale pitched, and now Mike Ford. So we get a miss. 2-1.
Good life on that fastball right there.
A little tail on it.
Tail to it, yeah. Time you're getting a swing and miss on a 2-0 fastball and the guy's looking for it, that's a good sign. Same exact spot.
Yeah, 2-2. Ford last year hit 12 home runs and 25 runs batted in 50 games with the Yankees. Threw him a changeup and he tapped it foul.
Little firm on the changeup. I think there's only like maybe 7 or 8 miles an hour difference. Usually you like to get to 10. It's still a really good pitch, good life to it.
That one's off the third base line. It's going to be a tough play. No man's land.
Bowman the shift, so he's way off the line there.
Yeah, they have 3 infielders on the right side. I don't know what Joe's talking about, but there's a smile under that mask. Aaron Boone, the successor.
Not an easy job to come from the booth and then be in New York of all places
With
and manage.
The only experience being as a player, basically.
Pretty impressive.
Well, definitely had the personality.
Remember when he was catching pop-ups and fly balls and shagging out here at the vet?
3-2.
He and Brett.
Were you shagging with him?
Yeah.
I was going to say.
Yeah. Except he was way more talented. They were catching balls behind their back. They were like, what, 7 or 8 or 10 years younger than I was, or something like that.
Fly ball out toward right field, and that is not coming back. That is a long shot. Wow. Into the bleachers for Mike Ford. And this game is tied up at 2 here in the bottom of the 9th inning.
Left it right down Broadway, and he did not miss it.
Usually they decide before the game whether we're going to go extra innings anyway. There was, as I said, Damon Jones warming up the bullpen.
Fastball right down Broadway, as I said. Thigh high, and he did not miss it, that extension.
Reaction from his dugout. Breaking ball up high, and it's 1 ball and no strikes. This is Estrada I mentioned before how impressed Aaron Boone is with the way he's played. Fisted out towards short center.
Good pitch, life on the hands right there.
We could just speculate whether there's going to be a 10th inning or not. I mean, the Yankees have a guy warming up. The Phillies do. I think the guy warming up for the Yankees, though, was just getting his work in. And it could be the same thing for Damon Jones. So we may be done after 9, even though it's tied at 2. We'll see, though.
Interesting if we go to the man on second base.
Well, we could do that. That's a good point. We could do that.
I want to do that.
Because the Phillies worked on it in the inter-squad game the other day.
Yeah, several times.
And Duhar, who walked in his only at-bat.
Good
1-1,
pitch.
yep. Bottom of the zone. So we get a miss. That's
Great
good.
changeup.
Yeah, really good changeup. It died inside. So 2 outs.
It's kind of a front door changeup. We talked about it. It's so rare. Such an effective pitch. Looks like a fastball all the way until the very end. Good one.
Yovera was waiting for them to throw the ball around the horn. Here's Eric Kratz. Runs inside, 1-0. One and one. Game started with Vince Velasquez. He went 5+ innings, allowed 1 run for the Phillies. Very effective. Davey Garcia was not as effective for the Yankees. He allowed a couple of runs, but only lasted an inning and 2/3. This is the final exhibition game for the Phillies. As Murph mentioned before, a couple inter-squad games the next couple of days. A simulated game for Zach Eflin on Thursday. Check his back out. Make sure it's okay. And that is, I mean, before then you'll have an idea of what the rotation is going to look like, but I think that'll put a stamp on what they think the rotation is going to be moving forward. 1-2 pitch coming. Check swing, back to the mound, kicked a few times, and Yovera is able to throw out Eric Kratz. All right, so that's it. We've got a tie, a 2-2 tie, so no runner at second base in extra innings. Aaron Boone, Joe Girardi exchanging pleasantries. Mike Ford's home run ties the game up at 2 here in the 9th inning. A lot of positives tonight. We'll talk about them when we return. The Yankees and the Phils, they finish at a 2-2 tie.